Welcome to Portage, a prairie town located between Winnipeg and Brandon, Manitoba on the No. 1 highway. According to the Statistics Canada 2011 census, the city and its rural municipality consisted of approximately 20,000 residents. In 1974, Portage demonstrated a need for an indoor recreation facility. The idea was proposed by the city but shut down by the public and did not proceed. 30 years later, in the early 2000s, a random sample phone survey had been done to see what the community wanted and needed in terms of recreation. The idea for a new recreation facility was again proposed and then put into action. It is now the indoor recreation facility called the Portage Credit Union Centre, or PCU Centre, built in 2008. This facility consists of two NHL-sized hockey arenas where Portage hockey games and concerts would be held, a fitness centre, Manitoba's largest indoor wave pool, an indoor walking track, meeting spaces, and a canteen restaurant. At the time the PCU Centre was being proposed, planned, and built, there was no planning department for the city of Portage la Prairie. The mayor and the city council were the first board of directors with planning in 2006. The former mayor, Ken Brennan, says this took years and hard work to develop. They used advice from the province of Manitoba and from engineers to guide them through their decisions, and particularly the decision of the location of the new PCU Centre. When contemplating the location for the PCU Centre, two options were considered. Both options already had recreational zoning on them, so rezoning of the areas was not an issue. The first location option was the Republic of Manitoba Park, or Republic Park, located in the southeast end of Portage la Prairie. The Republic Park is primarily a recreation area for sports and consists of baseball and softball diamonds, soccer and rugby fields, and an outdoor golf driving range. The second option was the centrally located Island Park, or the Island as locals call it, which was created by an oxbow of the Assiniboine River. It is surrounded by a body of water called Crescent Lake. The island consists of multiple land uses, primarily residential, recreation, and agriculture. The parcel of land considered for the recreation facility was the land owned by the Portage Fair Board and would have to be sold or leased to the city. This area was once used for horse races and annual concerts, but did not have much community support or involvement in the past decades and was having financial problems. To build a brand new recreation facility on this land would give it some longevity and revitalization to the Portage Fair Board. The parcel of land considered for the PCU Centre at the Republic Park was the already existing sports fields owned by the city. Building the PCU Centre and its parking lot here would involve destroying and building over already existing sports fields, which are often used in the summer. However, the city would not have to lease or buy the land because they already owned it. Considering ways of transportation for each location was very important. In Portage la Prairie, there is no public transit system. Portage residents rely highly on their own vehicles, as well as taxis, biking, or walking. To enter and exit the Republic Park, there is one gravel road off of another heavy traffic road. There is no four-way stop, just one stop sign when exiting the park, which would make leaving Republic Park after an event at the PCU Centre quite chaotic. On the other hand, if the Island Park were chosen, a similar problem exists. There is one bridge which leads on and off the island, one lane for each way. This bridge is an old wooden bridge nearing its expiry date. In either circumstance, heavy traffic coming from a Portage Terrier hockey game or a music concert at the PCU Centre would cause traffic backup and possible dangerous circumstances if emergency vehicles could not get through. When considering connectivity and accessibility to the residents of Portage, the Island Park is centrally located, close to Main Street, downtown, schools, shops, and would be more accessible to a wider range of community members. The Republic Park is close to one school, a fine dining restaurant, a gas station, and the 2 higher-priced residential areas in Portage, but not close to the downtown area. When it comes to which location is more accessible for the majority of the town, the Island Park would be the better option, especially considering people who walk or bike around Portage la Prairie. However, it was a concern that being surrounded by water, the land quality on the Island Park would not be sufficient for this large facility. But, according to former Mayor of Portage la Prairie, Ken Brennan, soil samples were taken at both the proposed locations, and both were somewhat similar, and neither were of ideal quality. Therefore, land quality did not have an impact on the final decision for the location of the PCU Centre, as extra costs for building would be needed for either location. The City of Portage la Prairie wanted the input of the community when it came to the location decision. A study was done by Stan Tech Architecture Limited of Winnipeg and Professional Environmental Recreational Consultants Limited of Vancouver that involved a public hearing, mail surveys, and stakeholder interviews. According to the Portage Regional Recreation Authority, this study was an analysis of recreational needs, estimates of capital, space requirements, program design, and site analysis. This study assisted in the final decision for the location of the PCU Centre. Community values are also an important part of planning, especially in a small town where the residents feel connected and impacted by changes in their community. The people of Portage la Prairie view the Island Park as a recreational and family centre for their town. The recreation land uses of the island consist of tennis courts, playgrounds, walking paths, island of lights in the winter, a golf course and clubhouse, an outdoor water park, bird and deer pens, picnic areas, a bush maze, and a platform for outdoor concerts. So to Portage residents, it made sense for a recreation facility to be located on the island, as it was already a place that many were familiar with, and a sense of place and belonging for them was present there. After much consideration from the City Council, Province of Manitoba, engineers, the Recreation Needs Study, the community, and another public hearing, the final decision on the location of the PCU Centre was announced. The new PCU Centre was to be located at the Island Park on the Portage Fair Board grounds. The land has been leased by the Portage Fair Board to the city for a reasonable price. Paying this leasing price and revitalizing the area was deemed more practical than destroying regularly used sports fields at the Republic Park, which are still being used today. The PCU Centre has been open and running since 2009 and has had success in bringing people in to use the facilities. The facility has had good feedback, but some bad from residents who think that the city should be spending money on aspects of the city other than recreation. Many people are enjoying what the PCU Centre has to offer, as it has sparked a fitness craze in the town, as well as more fans going out to hockey games. As discussed with one resident living on the Island Park, the PCU Centre has not made an impact on her life whatsoever. However, another Island Park resident states that trying to enter and exit the island at the time of an event at the centre is more difficult and annoying than before it was built. To battle the new traffic congestion on the Island Park Bridge, the City of Portage la Prairie has built a causeway alongside the bridge for emergency vehicles, Island Park residents, and large trucks. But the old wooden, nearly expired bridge is needing some reconstruction soon, as the amount and weight of traffic is more now than in years before. Lanes on the bridge often being closed for repair makes the traffic even more congested during high traffic times before or after events at the centre. An idea to decrease the traffic problem on the bridge is to have a transit bus system going from each area of town to the PCU Centre before large events, and then from the PCU Centre to each area of town after events, so residents do not have to worry about driving, traffic, and parking, and also to decrease carbon emissions, wear and tear on the bridge, and traffic congestion. The population of Portage la Prairie may not be sufficient for an everyday transit system, but this may work during times of excessive traffic flows to the island. To conclude, there is much to take into account when planning and deciding upon the location of a new facility or development. Transportation, land quality, costs, revitalization, community values and needs, access and connectivity are all important factors to be considered.